The rain hammered against the tall glass windows of a mansion perched on the hills, its lights shimmering like a lighthouse in the storm. Inside, the air was warm, golden chandeliers flickered, and silence reigned over polished marble floors. To the world, this was the kingdom of Charles Wentworth, a billionaire known for his icy demeanor, ruthless business strategies, and his unmatched ability to test the loyalty of everyone around him. Charles had everything money could buy: a fleet of cars, art worth millions, and a staff of 20 ensuring he never lifted a finger. But despite all the luxuries, his heart carried an emptiness he could never fill. He trusted no one. For years, he believed people were only kind when his wallet was open. The only exception to this was his maid, Evelyn. A hard-working black woman in her late 30s, Evelyn had been in his service for nearly 5 years. She carried herself with dignity, moving through the mansion quietly, always respectful, always dependable. Charles never admitted it, but Evelyn reminded him of his late mother, strong, proud, and unshakably kind. But lately, Evelyn had been bringing her daughter, Amara, to the mansion after school. A slender 12-year-old girl with big brown eyes and a shy smile, Amara was quiet but observant. She often sat in the corner of the kitchen doing her homework while her mother worked. Charles noticed her presence, though he never showed it. And yet, one evening, an idea crept into his mind. He wanted to know the truth. Was Evelyn truly loyal, or would her daughter reveal another side? People often said that children, when left unsupervised, show the truest reflection of a household. Charles decided to test this. That night, after dinner, Charles staged his plan. He reclined on the velvet sofa in his grand living room, a book in his hand, the fire crackling beside him. Evelyn had gone upstairs to tidy the guest rooms, leaving Amara alone near the kitchen. Charles pretended to drift off to sleep. His eyes remained half shut, his breathing even, but he was fully awake, waiting to see what the little girl would do. At first, nothing happened. The only sounds were the ticking of the golden clock and the patter of rain outside. Then, Amara tiptoed into the living room. She looked around nervously, her small hands clutching her school notebook. Charles braced himself. Would she sneak something? Take a trinket? Children often revealed temptations adults tried to hide. But instead, Amara walked closer, her eyes falling on the thick blanket draped over the arm of the sofa. Quietly, carefully, she picked it up and spread it over Charles's body, tucking the edges gently under his arms. Her little hands smoothed the fabric, making sure he was warm. Charles's chest tightened. He was expecting mischief, but what he saw instead was care. But Amara wasn't done. She hesitated, then whispered softly, almost like a prayer, "God, please bless Mr. Wentworth. Help him not to be so lonely. And thank you for letting Mom work here so we can have food." Tears stung Charles's eyes, but he forced himself to remain still. Amara then did something that shattered the icy fortress around his heart. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a crumpled paper star. It was folded neatly, handmade from her school notebook. On it, she had written in shaky handwriting, "For someone who feels alone." She placed it gently on the coffee table beside him, then tiptoed back to her spot, returning to her homework as if nothing had happened. Charles could hardly breathe. That single, innocent act pierced deeper than any deal, any fortune, any test he had ever conducted. When Evelyn came back downstairs, Charles sat up, unable to keep his emotions hidden. Evelyn froze, realizing he hadn't been asleep at all. "Sir, I told Amara to stay out of your way," she began, embarrassed. But Charles raised his hand, his voice thick with emotion. "Evelyn, your daughter, she didn't stay out of the way. She reminded me of something I had forgotten long ago." Evelyn blinked, confused, until Charles showed her the folded paper star. Her eyes widened, then filled with tears. She She makes those when she thinks someone needs a little hope. For the first time in years, Charles's voice cracked. She gave it to me. That night changed everything. The following morning, Charles called Evelyn and Amara into his study. His usual coldness was gone, replaced with something warmer, softer. He handed Amara a small box. Inside was a golden locket with a star engraved on it. "From one lonely soul to another," he said quietly. "But I don't intend to stay lonely anymore. Not if I have angels like you around me." He turned to Evelyn then, his eyes steady. "You've been more than an employee. You've been a light in this house. From this day forward, I want to take care of you and Amara, not as staff, but as family." Evelyn gasped, unable to speak. Amara hugged Charles tightly, the kind of hug he hadn't felt in decades. For the first time, the billionaire who had everything realized that true wealth wasn't in marble floors or priceless art. It was in kindness, in love, in the smallest acts that came from the purest of hearts. From then on, the mansion was never silent again. Laughter echoed in the hallways, the kitchen smelled of Evelyn's cooking, and Charles finally learned to smile freely. And every night, before bed, Amara left another folded star on his desk. Each one reminded him kindness costs nothing, but it changes everything. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring tales of kindness and transformation.